Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today we're going to do a reading for Cancer energy, and we're going to use the Kipper deck, so I'll probably have to get some clarifiers on it to fill out the story, but sometimes it brings a little different insight to it. So the top row is going to be high vibe Cancer energy. People have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. They've kind of healed from some past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, and they're ready to move forward in life differently instead of repeating some old patterns of behavior and life. And the bottom row is going to be a more worldly focused or shadowy Cancer energy, which could just be how we struggle within ourselves because in order to move forward in life differently, we kind of have to detach from some old ways of being and maybe some people in our life, and that can be hard. So sometimes we're struggling within ourselves. But there's always going to be some people in the world that are definitely moving forward in life differently because they've gained some insight and understanding and they just can't live their life the way they've done it. They've seen that, I don't know, they've outgrown it, matured out of it, dealing with people who are immature or something. And there's always going to be people in the world who haven't learned some lessons in life of how to play nice with others. And some of them don't want to play nice with others. You know, shadowy Cancer energy can be people who like to present themselves as a loving family person, but they use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship because something in their shadow energy, they're just defensive or they're immature or insecure or self-centered or materialistic or something, you know. So anyway, we all tap into Cancer energy. If you harness high vibe Cancer energy, you'd like to be in a relationship with other people who do. And sometimes we find ourselves in relationships with people who do harness their Cancer energy differently. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about some other people in your life, and let's see what's going on. So the reason for the top rows reading, people who are moving forward in high vibe, is people who are aligned with being authentically themselves and loving themselves. In tarot, we have the masculine figures and we have the feminine figures. The feminine figures can represent how we think and how we feel, and then the masculine figures can represent how we take action in the world, because we all take action in masculine energy because we can present ourselves any way we want, and people don't know the truth of who we really are, how we feel, how we think. And so high vibe people are aligned within themselves. Who they present themselves as being is who they really are. And they're operating from a foundation of love. Love is what helps unifies us, helps us heal. And they're balanced within themselves. They're not, our masculine energy can represent our egoic nature. They're not tipped out of balance. They're not indulging poor behavior within themselves. They're not indulging poor behavior in others. They're maintaining balance within themselves. They're moving forward in an energy of love. They want to be in relationships with other people who aren't indulging themselves in their ego and expecting other people to indulge them in their ego. The reason for the reading for the shadowy energy is some people have exchanged that foundation for choosing. We've got free will. Some people align with their more loving, hopeful, believing nature, and some people align with their more worldly, immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy. I don't want to put in the work and effort. I don't want to be authentically myself. And they've exchanged a loving foundation for being tempted by the things of the world, which can just be their fear. So let's go see what we have. We have the community card and the thief. And then we have imprisonment, occupation, lovers, concern, and the main male. You know, when we've worked with our own shadow nature, which is what the thief can talk about, we have all got lessons learned in life. We've all got to grow up. We all have our worldly nature. We've all been kind of, when we're children, we're very self-centered and think the world should revolve around us. And some people have grown up to be adults and they still think the world is just about them and that everybody should make their life about them. Other people dealt with their own shadow nature and saw how it kind of imprisoned them, their fear, their insecurity, their more immature, indulgent ways. They've also dealt with people in the world who were unjust, unfair, unloving, and they saw how it imprisoned them. And the high vibe people emotionally put in the work and effort with love to become kind of like authentically themselves. Because if I keep investing in working with my shadow nature and I keep making decisions out of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, codependency, I'm probably going to get in relationships with other people who are happy that I live my life that way. And they're always going to, if I get in relationships with people like that, they don't want me to stand up and be authentically myself, to be free. Shadowy people like other people to be shadowy. If I'm fearful and insecure, I want you to be fearful and insecure. If I might be more motivated by pride and ego, I want you to stay in a relationship with me because of the pride and the ego. And some people already worked with people and dealt with their own shadow nature. And even though it meant that they were maybe going to have to become kind of more independent of some people in their life and stand up to themselves, to free yourself from your shadow nature, you have to do this work within yourself to I'm kind of looking at the main male today as being independent from your egoic nature. I can't keep being manipulated by my fear or my insecurity or my lust or my greed or my, and I can't let other people manipulate me using those tactics. If I want to be free, because high vibe energy is being free, to live my authentic life and free wanting to be in just and fair and balanced and loving relationships, I have to maintain my independence. And there might be some people in my life, who won't become independent with me. And there will be some other people in the world who are independent. They've went through this same process that I have, and they could have realized how their shadow nature manipulates them, how other people in their life then manipulate them. When you're in a relationship based on love, you're being truthful and honest and authentic, and you're loving and you're encouraging. If you haven't learned to love yourself and you have your fears or your insecurity or your more immature, indulgent or prideful, egotistical or lustful, greedy nature, there's a lot of people in the world who would like to be in a relationship with you because you could be a supportive, encouraging, loving person. You just haven't learned to love yourself. And they're like, perfect, let's be in a relationship. I like being in a relationship with you. I'm glad you haven't learned to love yourself. I'm glad you're still imprisoned by the past, imprisoned by your fear, imprisoned by your insecurity, imprisoned by your codependent worldly nature. I'm glad you haven't freed yourself and become more independent, because I don't plan to do that work. And I want you to indulge me in a relationship, in my shadowy nature. So let's go look at the bottom row. Message of concern, high honor, change, pathway, message. We can see other people in the world and things that motivate and inspire us, like movies and music and artwork and all those things. That creative energy that people used in the world to create all these different things is other people tapped into their life force energy and hopeful, believing nature. And so then when we watch those movies, read those books, listen to that music and things like that, it can really kind of motivate and inspire us to believe in ourselves and start to put in the work and effort to believe in ourselves. And if people were previously in shadow, and some people who are maybe kind of in their shadowy nature right now, they could be concerned if they're going to move forward. When we're in our shadow nature, it can be about being more codependent and looking for someone that we can move forward with to help it make us look like we've moved forward in life differently, like we've moved on. But did we really do the work within ourselves to really be a different person? Have we changed? Have we grown? Have we matured? Have we healed from past pain and heartbreak? Because otherwise, we'll just go get a different job, a different friend, a different romantic relationship to make it look like we've kind of like transformed our life, like we've changed, we've moved on. But and that could be kind of the message people try to send to the world. Look, I'm no longer in that relationship. Look, I moved on. Look, I'm not at that job anymore. Look, I got a new job. But they really haven't changed. And it's just exchanging one foundation for a different foundation. And they could be driven more by pride and ego and fear or insecurity. So, because our shadow nature is operating from our more egoic nature, which is our more competitive nature, being in our ego. If other people see that other people have freed themselves and they know that those people aren't taking action, being immature and prideful and egotistical and maybe getting into new relationships out of ego and competitiveness, and those people are maintaining balance within themselves, well, they know that those people are probably other people are gonna see what kind of person they are, and other people are gonna want to be in a relationship with them. It's like, oh wow, you're a loving, nurturing person. You're balanced. You're not acting out of ego, and you're not wanting to get in a relationship with people out of ego or fear or codependency. You've learned to love yourself and maintain balance within yourself, and you know your worth and value. Well, some of the shadowy people who know some of those people and maybe rejected some of those people because those people wanted them to do this work within themselves to heal from some of their past pain and heartbreak and their self-limiting beliefs, and their maybe bossy and controlling or worldly focused view of life. And they wanted them to be more balanced, and they thought, I don't think I have to do that. I think I can just go get in a relationship with someone else. And I'm sure I'll look victorious and successful. But the only thing is that if you really haven't done the work within yourself, you are repeating an old pattern. It's just, you know, if you knew, say you worked at a place and your supervisor was kind of like petty and bossy and controlling and immature, they can go get a different job, and for a while it'll look like, oh wow, I wonder, if they've changed or whatever. Odds are they haven't. If you're an adult and you're still acting petty and envious and jealous and controlling and manipulative, odds are that foundation that they operate from is pretty entrenched. And it's really hard to change our underlying foundation of life about what drives and motivates us. If we had been someone who originally was motivated and inspired by love, we can get off the path and we can not we can be loving to other people, but we just haven't learned to love ourselves and think we deserve equally loving relationships. And it could be out of our comfort zone because we're kind of used to being in relationships with people who might be more shadowy, might be a little controlling, might be a little self-centered, and we're used to indulging people like that in the world. And so sometimes it's just that we haven't learned to love ourselves. And then there's people in the world who weren't loving really to begin with, who were more motivated to be defensive to love, and maybe being more just and fair in relationships, and maybe didn't learn some lessons along the way to be more just and fair and loving in relationships. And it doesn't matter if they go get another job or go get in another relationship, they're going to be the same person that they were in the old job or relationship, because they haven't put work and effort into freeing themselves from the things that ever made them act in a shadowy way to begin with. But they know that other people, they did probably see the truth of the other people, that they are more, they're maybe not like them. Maybe they're not fearful and insecure and manipulative and prideful and egotistical, but they just hadn't learned to love themselves, but they know that they're loving people, and they treat people in a just and fair manner and things like that. So they know those people are going to move forward in a way that is loving, that those people have changed, that those people have transformed their life, that they have learned how to love themselves, to believe they deserve to be in equally balanced relationships. Because every relationship, this is like the scales of justice here, every relationship has to be balanced. And you can be a very loving person, but you haven't really learned to love yourself. And so you can get in these imbalanced relationships where you're very loving and giving and nurturing. Is like trying to get other people to love and believe in themselves so you can have this more balanced relationship. But why weren't we originally getting into relationships with people who are loving and just and fair and balanced and treat us the way we treat them? And part of it can be we're not used to it. We're used to being in relationships with people that we kind of indulge them in their poor behavior, and we keep having this hope and faith that one day they'll rise up and choose love also. And the whole thing is, we got to realize everybody's got free will. People who are motivated and inspired to be loving and just and fair are motivated to be loving and just and fair and grow up and mature themselves and choose love. And other people don't. They want to keep being immature and impulsive or manipulative or fearful or defensive. And it can be like our own God complex, like, oh, no, no, It's one thing to want to change the world where you offer people, treat people with love and respect and encourage them to love and believe in themselves. It's another thing to get in relationships, romantic relationships with people who've shown you they're not very loving, balanced, just, fair, loyal, committed, mature. But it is kind of maybe a pattern that we can have, and we keep repeating these patterns, you know, trying to get other people to love and believe in themselves, to transform their life, to send a message to their foundation like, hey, I've learned to love and believe in myself. And we can keep doing that until we realize that maybe the other people, keep moving forward kind of more in their pride and ego. And that's how they want to live their life, or their defensive nature. And kind of eventually, the loving people no longer want to be in that relationship anymore because it's exhausting. And the people who are kind of shadowy kind of don't really want to be in the relationship anymore because it gets tiring being in a relationship with someone who's trying to basically make you live your life differently than you want to live your life. If they were motivated and inspired by love and being just and fair and growing up and maturing themselves, they would have done it. And it's nice to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and encouraging and all that, but eventually, if that's not how you really want to live your life, it kind of gets old, and both people can end up wanting to get out of the relationship. And sometimes the more shadowy people might take some kind of action, because they know the people in their life are facing some of their fears and insecurities and healing from past pain and heartbreak. Their life is going to change. Just like you go to school in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade and you learn these classes, you're going to be able to go to the next level of life. And if the other people haven't been putting in the work and effort, they know they're not going to go to the next level of life because they haven't dealt with their fears and their insecurities or healed from past pain and heartbreak. And they know that the other people that are putting in the work and effort are going to move forward in life, and eventually they're gonna want to be in relationships with people who are more on the same page as them. So sometimes the people who are kind of shadowy get really concerned, but instead of putting the work and effort within themselves to heal, they just decide, kind of gets them in their ego. I don't have to change. I don't have to grow up. I don't have to deal with my past pain and heartbreak. I'm going to take action out of ego to bring about a change in my life that makes it look like I'm moving forward in life differently, and I'm going to exchange this foundation to go get in a relationship with someone else, hoping that that new relationship will be the answer or be someone who's more on the same page as them. And if they're not motivated and inspired to heal and grow and mature themselves, they should go get in a relationship with someone else and get in a relationship with people who are kind of motivated and inspired by whatever it is that motivates and inspires them or imprisons and enslaves them. Sometimes people who are in shadowy energy don't like that other people are loving and believing in themselves and healing, because they know that if they know they aren't willing to do the inner work to heal, to free themselves from whatever it is that kind of manipulates them, they could still want to be in a relationship with the loving people in their life, but they want them to give up on believing in their dreams and come back and be in a relationship with them where, you know, they're willing to be imprisoned by the same things that imprison the other people. So if you're in a relationship with someone, say, who's bossy and controlling, you're supposed to let them be bossy and controlling. If they're fearful and insecure, you're supposed to just deal with their fear and their insecurity. If they have other people in their life who kind of manipulate and control them that they're not willing to become independent of, you're supposed to let those people be a third party in your relationship and basically let them be a third party where they manipulate and can kind of control your life, because the person you're in a relationship with is manipulated and controlled by them. And some of those people want to still stay in a relationship with people, but they want you to do it the way they want it done. And so sometimes, in order to make you stop loving and believing in yourself, they will take some action out of pride and ego to maybe create the illusion, because shadow energy is about creating an illusion to confuse people about the truth. They'll get out of the relationship with the loving, supportive, encouraging people in their life to go get in a relationship with someone else to make it look like, look at me, I've moved on. And then they're hoping that the loving people in their life are imprisoned and up in their head and in their fear and in their insecurity and in their ego and in their competitive nature, and that they'll be really concerned that this person went and got in a relationship with someone else, and then maybe hoping that instead of you loving yourself, you'll kind of be in your ego, and you might take action to communicate with them that you want to work with them again and do the relationship the way they want. And it's just like, whew, cool. So now you gave up on your dreams. You don't love and believe in yourself. You gave up on that. Now you're willing to do the relationship the way I want, which is kind of where I can stay in my ego nature. I don't have to change. You've given up on change. We're going to keep moving forward, doing the relationship the way I want. And for some of you, the people who are trying to manipulate you in that kind of way, it didn't work. They could have done that. It could have kind of caused a lot of conflict and got people up in their ego and their competitive nature. But the high vibe people said, this isn't loving. Loving people don't want me to be up in my head. Loving people wouldn't want me to be in my competitive nature. People who love you want you to feel loved. Shadowy people want you to be in your ego and in your competitive nature and to chase them. Loving people wouldn't do that to you. So the loving people did the work to love themselves, and they freed themselves. And now some of the shadowy people are concerned because they probably went and got themselves in a relationship, created this illusion that, oh my gosh, this was my dream relationship. that I wanted to be. And that's why I rejected those loving people, because I really wanted to be with these people. This person was the relationship of my dreams, but it was all really just a manipulation tactic. And they were trying to kind of deceive the community. They're really fearful of putting in work and effort in love. They don't want to have to be authentic or vulnerable or more just and fair. They don't want to have to grow up and mature themselves. They don't want to heal from past pain and heartbreak. So now, while other people became independent and know their worth and value, they're still imprisoned by the same things that imprisoned them before. And now they could have gotten themselves in a relationship. And now they're like, and the reason they're up on the top row is because we have them in our life. Even if we're in high vibe energy, they're in shadowy energy and they're in our life. Another reason is because generally people who are kind of in shadowy energy are trying to present themselves as high vibe people in the world. Look at me, look at what a loving family person I am. But they're really more motivated by ego and image and people kind of exchanging time, energy, effort, and hugs and kisses with them in a relationship. But it's more of a transactional relationship, not based on love, at least on their part. Because if you do love, you get hurt. And some people are really worried about doing love. And in order to do love, you have to deal with all the issues that imprison you, that stop you from doing love. And so there could be some people in the world, there's other people who are loving people, who have gotten themselves in relationships with people, and maybe over time, those people could have become more selfish or greedy or materialistic or get caught up in their addictions. There's no guarantees in life. We have no idea when people are going to kind of tip into their more shadowy nature, which can just be becoming unloving for some reason. There's other people in the world that have gone through these life experiences, and then there's some people who might be in a relationship with someone. They could be in a relationship with someone who, is kind of indulging them. Yeah, I'm willing to move forward with you. I'm willing to exchange time, energy, and effort with you. I want to stay in the relationship either because it's good for their ego and their image and status, or, they want to be in a relationship with them either because they're codependent or fearful or insecure of loving and believing in themselves. So it's like, stay in a relationship with me, or because you have status and image, or you're good looking, or you're attractive, or whatever, I want to stay in the relationship with you. I don't want to have to learn to love myself and believe in myself or go get in a different relationship. And some people are having to decide right now, have I gotten myself in a situation where either my ego and my fear are running my life, and there's people I know that I might want to be in a relationship with that are moving forward and transforming their life. Some of those people, if not people, just high vibe energy, all the time is kind of like communicating with people that you don't have to stay imprisoned in your fear and your insecurity. You don't have to be imprisoned by your ego. You have free will. And then people can have loving, encouraging people in their life that are trying to encourage them to believe in themselves, to deal with some of their fears and insecurities, to free themselves. Because if they don't, they're probably going to end up being in relationships with people who are happy they live their life that way. People who are like, oh, do you have fear and insecurity? Let me play on your fear and insecurity and manipulate you. Are you kind of immature and impulsive and indulgent? Let me play on that. Oh, do you like people to stroke your ego? Let me play on that because I want you to stay in a relationship with me. Are you materialistic? Let me play on that. Do you want to be manipulated all your life? And it starts within ourselves. what we align with within ourselves is going to dictate who then we hang out with in the world. Do we believe we deserve to be in loving, just, and fair relationships where people treat us, who want us to become all that we can be, who encourage us to face our fears and insecurities, to listen to our intuition, to love ourselves? Or are we in relationships with people who say, you should be in a relationship with me and it'll all be great? You know, that's kind of like the devil. The devil represents the world. You should make your life about the world. Make it about your pride and your ego and image. Don't do love. You get hurt doing love. You don't have to put in that work and effort. You can, the lie is that you don't have to put in that work and effort to grow up and mature yourself and heal and love yourself. You can have all these things of the world. It'll make you happy, but it's a lie, because the things of the world are just things of the world, and it's love that makes us thrive and grow and feel happy within ourselves and makes a loving, stable, abundant foundation. We can have all the things of the world and it's like an empty shell. We can be in relationships with people who are indulging us or blah blah blah, and it's meaningless because it's emotionally shallow and superficial. So when people, so there could be some people right now that are either being, well, it starts within them. There's something within them that manipulates them. And then there's people in their life who are happy they live their life that way, that keeps them in prison. The truth sets us free. And some people know that there's other people out there in the world that they could know, that could have communicated with them, that I freed myself from things that used to imprison me, and I'm moving forward in life. Loving myself, maintaining my balance, not giving in to my fear and my insecurity and getting all caught up in my head. I keep offsetting my fears and insecurities with love and hope and compassion and forgiveness. And the energy of love is what helps us heal and helps us maintain our balance as we move forward. And then we start investing our time, energy, and effort into the people in the world who treat us the way we treat them. And then we have no choice, but to manifest those things in our life, because we're not investing our time, energy, and effort anymore in the people who showed us that they free willingly don't want to do love, don't want to speak the truth, don't want to be just and fair, want to keep being defensive, want to make their life about indulgence or materialism or themselves. And we're not investing time, energy, and effort into those people, and we're putting work and effort to only focus on what can be and the people in our life who are in that energy. And we can't manifest a little hell on earth if we're not in that energy and we're not indulging other people who are in that energy. We're only working with the people who want to create a little heaven on earth. And some people see other people doing that, and some of those people are putting in this work and effort to heal their shadow nature, and they're transforming their life, and they're, because our worldly nature could be like represented by the caterpillar, and we see life from a certain perspective because we grow up in the world and we kind of get indoctrinated into the world of all these things that, it's what you wear and what you look like and how much money you have that makes you important and have value in the world. It's like, that's like the outer shell. What makes me valuable in the world is how I think and how I feel and how I love, and I'm worth so much more than that. But there's a lot of people who want to be in relationships with people because of the outer appearance, and what people look like, and it's superficial and shallow. And some people are doing this work to transform their life, and they could be at the point of communicating to the people in their life or their own worldly nature that I'm not letting you control and manipulate me anymore. And standing up for themselves and saying, for some people, it's the last time. if they are working with some people that they've been trying to love and encourage to be more just and fair and self-disciplined and loving in a relationship, and the other people keep moving forward in their pride and ego, it could be the last time they communicate with them. Are you willing to be more just and fair and loving in this relationship? And if those people don't, and some people have been really concerned about detaching from it, they're going to become independent of it, and they're going to tell those people, then I'm going to let go of this relationship to go pursue a different job, a different friendship, a different romantic relationship. Because I have been putting in this work and effort to know my worth and value and love and believe in myself and get balance within myself. And I want to be in relationships with people who have done that same work within themselves. And if you're not willing to do that, then I wish you peace. But I'm moving on. So, while some of the high vibe people are trying to move forward, or the loving people in the world, there could be different people who come up in your life. Negative energy is always going to try to stop life-giving energy. We live in a world where there's like spiritual warfare going on. Some people might pop up in your life trying to present themselves as people who've gotten out of their ego, who have changed, that, they've gotten out of whatever they were in and now they're ready to be in a relationship with you. Some of those people, though, if they're shadowy, they're hoping you're still in just the process of freeing yourself, that you're still kind of imprisoned by your competitive nature, your immature, lustful, greedy, whatever nature, so that you will be tempted by them. Other people might pop up in your life because we live in a world of duality and you have free will, so you have to be given choice. Other people might pop up in your life and they are being authentic and they do want to be in a relationship with you, but they could just be concerned that you're in a different relationship and that you won't want to be in a relationship with them. The other people could be concerned that you're in a different relationship too, but they're hoping that, I don't know, if they can, in their ego or how they present themselves as, basically, if you were already in a relationship, or people think you're in a relationship, some people don't know, and they just find you to be a loving person who seems to have freed yourself from, kind of grown and matured yourself, and they view you as someone they'd like to be in a relationship with. Other people might want to be in a relationship with you because they view you as very nurturing and loving and supportive and encouraging, and they want to be in a relationship with you, but they don't want to do love. So they're hoping that you're still kind of maybe in your ego or your competitive nature or codependent nature, and that they can get you to move forward with them because it would make them look like they've changed, like they've have become a different person, that they've moved on. But the shadowy people really are the same person in whatever past relationship they were in. They haven't grown and matured themselves. So this might be saying, to maybe emotionally work together with people, to maybe see how people have changed over time and lessons that they've learned, and to try to get to the truth if people really have grown and matured themselves. And I was starting to talk with the caterpillars, kind of our more worldly view of life, and if we go through these processes in life to become like a butterfly, we keep seeing life from a higher perspective, and you want to find out emotionally, kind of, the feminines can talk about our emotions and our thoughts and maybe how we communicate with people. If people have really changed their life, or, what is the truth of their foundation. And before you maybe take action in a relationship. I want to get to know you to find out the truth of your foundation. How do you move forward? Do you move forward more in ego and defensiveness? Do you just try to manipulate people and create an illusion, but you're really whoever you were in the last relationship with me or other people? Okay, let's go see what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy. What's coming up for them that they might not see coming? The King of Swords and the Justice card, because of the Two of Swords. Well, the people who are doing the work and effort within themselves to maintain balance within themselves and to keep taking action in truth and love and justice and fairness, they're able to do that because they listen to their intuition to guide them, not their fear, not their insecurity, not their pride, not their ego. Those people are going to get justice because they're aligned with the truth and listening to their intuition. Because when we stay stuck in denial of the truth, then our judgment is clouded because we haven't done this work and effort within ourselves to love ourselves and stand in our truth and to maintain balance within ourselves, and require that if people are going to want to be in relationships with us, they have to speak the truth and be balanced within themselves. We're not going to indulge people who want to stay in denial of the truth. So you want to be in denial of the truth that you should be just and fair and open and authentic and loving and speak your truth, but you want me to be in a relationship with you? No. You keep being in denial. So basically, you'll get justice over your own shadow nature that wanted you to stay in denial of the truth. Kind of like the devil doesn't want you to love and believe in yourself. And then all the people in your life who could have wanted you to stay in denial of the truth too, because they wanted to be in a relationship with you and manipulate you or control you or play on your fear or your insecurity or your pride or your ego. And you're like, no. That's not how I want to live my life, so I'm not aligning with that within myself. And when I'm no longer aligning with that within myself, and I'm speaking my truth and standing in my truth, and I'm not going to indulge people, I'm not going to indulge poor behavior in myself or others, well, then I guess we won't maybe be in a relationship and exchanging time, energy, effort, or hugs and kisses anymore, will we? Because I'm doing love, and if you're not doing love, well, then I guess you can go live your life whatever way you want. So what's coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Cancer energy? So I think you could have different people who want to be in a relationship with you, and you have to listen to your intuition. Which people are trying, the King of Swords and Shadow can be like living more from your mind than your heart. It's good for their ego and their image. It'd be a good strategy. People would view them a certain way, blah, blah, blah. It's all a mental strategy, to get in a relationship with someone. And they think it's just and fair that they live more from their mind than their heart and, don't have to be just and fair or be held accountable for their actions, and that you should be in denial of the truth of who they are. Some of those people are going to want to get in a relationship with you. And other people are coming towards you because they think some people want to come towards you because they think you haven't seen the truth and they can manipulate you. Other people think you have seen the truth and are enlightened to the truth and are listening to your intuition. And because of that, they're willing to get in a relationship with you. That you've seen the truth, that if I act in these certain ways and give in to these certain ways of being or get caught up in my illusions of the world or whatever, I'm going to get manipulated by other people in the world. And people who want to be in a relationship with you in high vibe don't want you to be manipulated by those things or those people. They want you to see the truth that you deserve to be in just and fair and loving relationships, and that you should love and believe in yourself. Just like those are the type of people you want to be in a relationship with. You don't want to be in a relationship with people who are in denial of the truth, who are still being manipulated, and therefore then they can be manipulated by other people. So, who wants you to be in denial of the truth and not see the truth of who they are? And who is willing to speak their truth and is happy that you love and believe in yourself and speak your truth? What's coming up for the shadowy people that they might not see coming? Well, this card that's not showing itself because of the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands. Well, one thing they didn't see coming is that some people that might be people they were attracted to, could have been in a relationship with, who shine maybe bright in the world, who are loving and giving and nurturing, those people are no longer in their life because these people juggled. They didn't want to invest in love. They wanted those people, male or female, to keep staying in a relationship with them, being more motivated and inspired by ego and image and money and materialism instead of love. And the other people who could have been loving and nurturing to them in a relationship love and believe in themselves, and they want to be in relationships with other loving, nurturing people. And they got themselves balanced, and they picked up their investment in these people to get balanced within themselves and to speak their truth that I deserve to be in equally balanced, loving relationships. And you're not acting that way. So I'm leaving your life and you can go juggle someone else. And they probably didn't see that coming, because some of the people who could be kind of in their pride and ego, they could be kind of full of themselves, they could use their looks or their money or their charm or just their sexuality, thinking if I can get someone in a relationship with me, I bet because of their pride and ego, they'll never be willing to become independent of it because they don't want people to talk about them. And if by worldly standards it looked like we had it all, they won't be willing to give all that up to keep believing in their dreams of love. And for some of them, they thought they could manipulate those people to give up on their dreams, and it didn't work because the other people put in the work and effort to love and believe in themselves, and they didn't see that coming. Another thing they might not see coming is that when some people rejected loving people, they thought that they could maybe move forward with someone else where maybe they didn't have to grow up and mature themselves, where they didn't have to learn to love themselves. And for some of them, the people they wanted to move forward with sent them a message that they've decided to go get in a different relationship. So some people thought, I can reject these loving people in my life. I can go get in a relationship with the other man or the other woman, is what the Queen of Wands can represent. I bet I can juggle someone else, and maybe the loving people in the meantime will be in a mental prison that I went to go get in a relationship with someone else. But if it doesn't work out, I can maybe go back to the loving people. Well, that maybe didn't work because the loving people saw through the illusion and the manipulation and said, you're not a loving person. Loving people don't act like that in relationships. So I'm speaking my truth and I'm listening to my intuition and I'm staying balanced within myself not to fall for illusion. And the people who went to go get in a relationship with someone else, they could have gotten juggled, because when we don't act with character and integrity and, we got some lessons to learn, shadowy people could tempt us and we go get in relationships with them. And those people were kind of hiding the fact that they were kind of operating from their ego and their competitive nature. And I just wanted you to maybe juggle the loving people in your life and come boost me up in my ego that you move forward with me instead of the loving people in your life. And you boosted my ego, but now that you boosted my ego, I'm kind of over it. And I'm not going to move forward with you in a relationship. And it's like, and that's the hard lessons we learn when we aren't willing to grow up and mature ourselves. We're probably going to get in some relationships with people where it doesn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out. Now, there could be some people in the world who are in shadowy energy, they try to present themselves as being high vibe. They could be telling people that they worked with people who were deceptive and manipulative, and that's why they're concerned about love, and they're hoping that the people they're in a relationship with who might be loving will keep moving forward with them in a relationship, because for the shadowy people who are basically lying to the people they're in a relationship with, it's good for their ego and image. The longer they can get someone to keep exchanging time, energy, effort, and hugs and kisses with them in a relationship, they're good. And so long as they play the poor, poor, pitiful me role and get those people to buy into it, they're getting that person to keep putting in a lot of work and effort. But the shadowy people could be both people in the relationship eventually will be concerned, because the shadowy people know that one day the people they're in a relationship with are going to want them. It's like, you've been saying that it's because of these people in your past that broke your heart and blah, blah, blah. Well, when are you ever gonna detach from those people, because they're not in a relationship with you anyway, and you keep like telling me that you love me and that you want to be in a relationship. I can't wait forever for you to free yourself. And that's kind of when the shadowy people are like, yeah, I think I need to get out of this relationship, because I was just kind of indulging myself in it for as long as you believed the illusion I was presenting and you bought into it. As long as you were buying into it, I was happy to be in the relationship with you. But if you really want me to bring it into reality, sorry. And some of those people could be communicating with the people they're in a relationship with right now that, sorry, I was just kind of indulging in it and you bought the story I presented. So now it's time for me to move on, and, I guess you're going to leave my life and I'm going to have to go find someone else to juggle. And the divine is always trying to get people to see the truth. If some people have been rejecting loving people, I think they're going to keep getting in relationships with people. They might get in a relationship with people who kind of live life like they do. And they might be surprised that someone is willing to move forward with them. There might be someone who doesn't really love and believe in themselves, who wants to balance things out with them or get in a relationship with them. But part of the reason some of the people who come get in a relationship with them, it might be because they had been, they just have similar lessons to learn like they do. They could have been in relationships with people who'd learned some more lessons in life about how to play nicely with others and be more just and fair in a relationship. And they were stressed out being in a relationship with people like that. And they could find this person is more on the same page. And we all get into relationships with people who are kind of on the same page as us at any given moment in life, And then if we're willing to work together to heal and grow and mature ourselves and free ourselves from our self-limiting beliefs, all those relationships, could have the potential of working out in a more high vibrational way. Sometimes we get in relationships with people where it's too kind of a big of a gap. Some people have learned a lot more life lessons than other people. And if they were to get in a relationship with someone who's more on the same page as them, then together those two people can maybe work together to help each other move forward, and that sounds kind of condescending, but we've probably all in our life even had friends who seem much more confident and bold and brave and confident than we were. And it's like, I find you to be a lot of fun, but just the way you put yourself out there in the world, I'm not as comfortable with that yet. And I'm not as free as you are to be myself in the world. So I'm probably going to go find some friends who might might be more in my comfort zone. And then maybe me and my friends can work together to one day get to being more bold and brave and confident. You tend to hang out with people who are kind of more on the same page as you. And if you and your friends or romantic interests are more closely aligned, maybe together you can help yourself navigate forward, incrementally, and both get yourself free. But if you get in relationships with people where there's too much of a gap, it can be hard to navigate that distance. And sometimes we just need to see the truth of that, you know? And we all deserve to be in relationships with people who are kind of more on the same page as us. If you are someone who's much more free and outgoing, and you have a friend who you could like, but maybe your things that you do are more, you go to the movies and you go bowling and you go on vacations, but maybe going out into the world, if that's not their thing and they're a little, we can all have different people that we hang out with and have different types of relationships with. But for a romantic relationship too, if the gap is too disparate, I would think is the word, it can be difficult. We kind of really need someone who's kind of more on more of the same pages as we are than not on some of the same pages as we are. Some of the people who thought that they were going to have other people up in a mental prison and have them in their ego and being defensive and thinking they were all that. And, when other people move on and grow and learn lessons from this type of life of experience, those people are probably going to get in new, just and fair and loving relationships because they're just and fair and loving people. And the other person might end up being the one who gets juggled or is left juggling and in a mental prison because they weren't willing to invest in people authentically and do the work within themselves. And they might end up having to move forward in a relationship, but by worldly standards, it could look victorious and successful, but it's more transactional. And maybe being in a relationship with someone like themselves who isn't maybe very loving, warm, creative, inspired, who might be more practical and grounded, and this makes logical, practical sense. And, we should be in a relationship. We would look like we've changed, like we've moved on, that, we have this victorious relationship, but it's more of a transactional relationship because both people juggle and don't really want to do love. And so then you're in a relationship that isn't very warm and nurturing and loving, but by worldly standards, it might look very successful. And if that's what helps some people maintain their balance, because why don't we go live life differently? Because we're not ready. It would kind of throw our life out of balance. We have lessons to learn of how to keep maintaining our balance moving forward in life differently. And some people, based on the lessons that they've learned and the fears that they have or whatever, this is kind of the relationship that helps them right now probably maintain their balance in their life. Because to live their life differently would kind of put them in a mental prison because they're emotionally not ready to live their life differently. So I think the shadowy people are going to keep moving forward in pride and ego, trying to make it look like they've changed. They might communicate with some other people in the world, maybe a Capricorn or someone who they do think might be someone who kind of juggles just like them, or someone who they think is more worldly focused. They don't have to be a Capricorn, who they think might be willing to exchange time, energy, effort, and hugs and kisses with them. And for some, that's all they want to do. I want to be in a relationship where someone will be willing to kind of indulge me in my ego, indulging myself in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship with anybody who wants me to free myself from the things that imprison me. Let them go find someone else who wants to do that kind of work and get in a relationship with someone like that, because I don't want to do it. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.